Hey guys, it's 21 Maxwell here and welcome to another TEW video. This time we're into Summerslam of 2021, so home what will be the biggest party of the summer. We're glad to see it is a 72,000 crowd at the Sun Life Stadium in Florida, so it's good to see the fans have come out for what hopefully will be a monumental event. So without further ado, as always, I appreciate you watching this video and taking your time out to watch it. Any comments on how you think the show should go down as it goes along? Let me know what you think. If you thought something was done incorrectly that maybe someone else should have won, let me know your thoughts on that as well. Any thoughts on wrestling in general, like subscriptions, all that jazz, deeply appreciated. Let's kick on with the show. So we start with one of our feuds on the Women's Revolution show, and it saw the team of Bayley, Charlotte and Sasha Banks take on the stable. We only live once, because Liv Morgan was the moreover, so she was the leader of basically the Riot Squad in real life. When a pre-show bout that had decent wrestling and not a lot of heat, We Only Live Once did pick up the win over Bayley, Charlotte and Sasha in 14:48 when Ruby Riott pinned Bayley with a hidey-ho following a distraction from Sasha Banks. So, put it into context, it's mostly been Bayley and Charlotte against Riott, Morgan and Logan. Sasha came to help her old friends, but of course she is a heel, so it was just a ploy to turn on Bayley. So overall, a decent B78 to start the pre-show. A couple of good performances there. Maybe the likes of Logan and Morgan could have been a bit better, but it kind of reflects where each woman is on in terms of overness. But a decent start to the show. You're going to get a few negatives there for the odd face-heel combination, but it adds to the story. Next up in the pre-show, we had the newly debuted. They debuted on Raw a couple of weeks ago, the Briscoes, and they got an opportunity at the Raw Tag Team Championships. It was a pre-show match that didn't have decent wrestling, not a lot of heat, and it saw the Briscoes defeat the Coffees in 10:27, but it was due to Mark Coffey being counted out while fighting Jay Briscoe, so the Coffees retain the championships, and a B77 overall builds up a bit of overness towards both the Briscoe brothers, Jay and Mark, and yeah, the Coffees continue to have some good overness and good in-ring performances. And as always, to end the pre-show, we've got all the upper mid-card or main eventers who didn't make feuds at this moment in time, because it's a stacked card. And we had a decent pre-show match that saw the team of Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Rusev, Paige and Tony Storm defeat Jim Uso, Randy Orton, Murphy, Nikki Cross and Melissa in 14:51, with Adam Cole defeated Murphy with a flying crossbody. So B-75. Cole is in a feud with Jim Uso, but time constraints. I mean, there's a 60-minute match in the main card, so we had to take a few folk out, and unfortunately they suffered. But a few negatives, we'll look through them. You can see Gargano off his game, Rusev off his game. Jim Uso, we can't change his gimmick at the moment, but some decent performance there. Nikki a wee bit poor. Let's have a look as well. Paige with a strong performance. And if we look at our dirt sheet, inconsistencies, not maybe as many as I thought there was going to be. Anyway, that was our 50-minute pre-show. Let's crack on with a hell of a stacked main card with representation from NXT, the Women's Revolution, and of course, Raw and SmackDown Live. So we start off, no hype packages, we're straight into the Fireflies for our opening contest as Bray Wyatt makes a spectacular over-the-top entrance for his match against Okada. A94, show off to a strong start, gets the crowd hotter, good performance from Bray. Really just trying to introduce Okada slowly but surely. We had him against Dean Ambrose, and this is kind of just Okada, against the main games of Bray Wyatt, just Bray Wyatt. Really try to see if he can maybe get underneath the skin of Okada and get a victory that can propel him back to the title hunt. Their match, good matchup. Unfortunately, not a great rating in my opinion. Okada picks up the win in 17:40 with a German suplex. Just a B81. Very visibly tiring, so his stamina's always been an issue, but it got the crowd hotter. Two decent performances with that regard. Okada improving performance. Where did it let the feud down? Just really the stamina for Bray Wyatt. So maybe I could have made it a slow-paced matchup. I just made it a regular match at 17-18 minutes. But overall, it was always to make Okada look $1 million. Next up, we had the NXT Heavyweight Championship on the line, and it was a decent matchup that saw Apollo Crews defeat Marcel Bartel in 14:01 with a quick roll-up to win the NXT Heavyweight title. It's a B82. Apollo's getting a little bit stale, but Bartel, despite being off his game, is getting better at his gimmick. He did have a good 77 performance. Yeah, the 82 maybe because the storyline wasn't really as strong. To give you a bit of an idea of where this is going, Marcel Bartel has improved like nothing else on NXT. Like, there was no point in keeping him there any longer. Honestly, if I could, he'd probably have the title for the year. He was that dominant, but I feel like he's got plans already, so he will be moving brands. So he was doing little bits on the SmackDown brand, but expect to see him to pop up on Raw for hopefully a major storyline going forward. Apollo Crews has been kind of up and down on Raw. He started to have more ups recently. I think he's someone who can benefit from strong matches in NXT, getting his momentum up, and hopefully getting him back on track as we head into 2022. So a good win for your new NXT champion is Apollo Crews. Next up, we had the IC title this early in the show. That's how stacked this is. And about that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Drew McIntyre defeated Chad Gable and Seth Rollins in 2032 when Drew McIntyre defeated Seth Rollins with the Scott drop, making his second title defence. A90, very good. Now, normally, if a feud's for ages and I kind of want to keep it going one more match, add someone in just to take the fall. I'm trying to give Chad Gable a push. It's not time for him to take the title. I feel like the time is soon for him, so I've kind of integrated him into this feud to say, he's going to scratch and claw for opportunities, just taking that kind of gimmick he's got in real life and actually giving him a chance, which he's never really had in WWE, and you could argue he's never really had a great chance here in terms of getting to that next ladder as a singles competitor. So, two good performances. Chad's a wee bit off, but with a couple more wins, there's certainly a lot of promise going forward for Gable. But for now, Drew McIntyre remains your IC champion. Now next up, the text does say that Regal stole Tommaso Ciampa from his rivals. Not technically the case, I just got lazy here with terms of angle. It's a B plus 86, but what's happened is Regal has been constantly attacked by Tommaso. Tommaso just wants bigger opportunities. Regal stripped him of the European Championship, so that's kind of what this angle was covering. That title's gone off him. He feels he's bigger than it, so he's left the European Championship. And yes, just Regal getting some retribution for what Ciampa has done in the last few shows on Raw. And that's meant this match was for the European Championship. But they had great wrestling and good heat, and it saw Bo Dallas regain it. And of course, he was the champion before Ciampa, as he defeated Dean Ambrose in 13:42 with a spear. Bo Dallas wins the European title. The reason I've went with Bo is, well, in this instance they were feuding, so I just felt like it was a good match to put here. Ambrose is well above the European Championship. Bo's going to drop down the card a bit to maybe mid-card, upper mid-card. He's still young enough that he can certainly get back up to main event. I just feel like keeping him there, he can help develop people and give a good run with the championship. Ciampa's above him. Ambrose is above him. Cool, Ciampa had the championship, but plans are always subject to change until we get a great idea. So, with to protect Dean Ambrose here, but it gives more prestige to a championship that was just vacated. And yeah, a B82, not the end of the world. Next up, John Cena cuts a promo on Andrade Cien Almas, 889. Now this one is, of course, the career is on the line. John Cena must win or he retires this evening. So he's just saying, if it is the end, thank you to all the WWE Universe for what's been a memorable career. We have a hype video just documenting John's career, which was a B plus 87. But big match, John has another big match on him. And it was a good matchup, good heat, decent wrestling, which saw Cena defeat Andrade Cien Almas in 11:55 with a roll-up. B77, Cena was tiring, much better performance from Andrade Cien Almas. But I just felt like with John Cena, we can probably keep him going for a bit longer. His stats have heavily declined. He's not the only one. But is SummerSlam the place you want John Cena to retire? We might make it at WrestleMania. We might make it at a lower pay-per-view. It depends. It really depends on John Cena, because he could turn up one day and go, I retire, I'm done. So there is plans of when I want him to retire. Initially, it was going to be tonight, I'm not going to lie, but we are going to keep him and see what else we can do for our next couple of pay-per-views at least. So there's a wee spoiler there. Won't be retiring quite next month. Next up, another decent matchup. Great wrestling. Feud that's been going for a while. Samoa Joe and Jay still have another matchup. Just again making Joe look dominant as possible, and he wins in 18-17 with the Kikuina clutch. What's very good is the B plus 88, despite the lack of psychology, so that probably takes it down from a 92-93. The segment gains a bit of heat. Good chemistry between them. Truthfully, it's going to be the end of their storyline. I also like the fact that it had a lack of associated storyline, which means if there's a bit more to that feud, you're probably talking that could be close to 100, because that's 2 big penalties towards that, and it still drew a good B plus 88. But that'll be the end of Joe. The problem is with Raw, I've got a lot of strong heels and not enough baby faces, so I'll need to see where we can fit Samoa Joe in. Next up, talking of big dastardly heels, decent matchup saw Corbin, Strowman and Harper defeat Styles, Metalik and Rey Mysterio in 14-18 when Braun Strowman defeated Gran Metalik with a power slam. A B80 here, it's again just giving the former Wyatt family something to do. I don't know what to do with them going forward. I toyed them maybe turning Braun babyface, but again, it's just having too many guys that are really over and only one championship. So we'll see where we can fit them in. I don't want to split them up. So, as in, I still want to have a tag team within there, or at least 2 aligned with each other. So if it is a split, it's one person leaving, not a complete split of the group. Metalik was just someone we could take a bit over the off of, and Summerslam, so you have legends with declaring physical ability, the likes of AJ and Rey Mysterio. Disappointingly though, Luke Harper has sustained a fully ruptured pectoralis major tendon, so we'll see how long that'll take him out of action. I've had a few injuries recently, which has been quite worrying. A few declining physical abilities in this one. And there's backstage heat on Rey Mysterio after his botch caused Luke Harper to get hurt, and that's with Serena. Cool. Next up, we've got an over-the-top entrance from the Velveteen Dream. He's going to this match up against a man who's constantly shocked him on SmackDown Live. A couple of roll-up victories. The Velveteen Dream says on the biggest stage he will not make such a mistake. So A-star 100 for the Velveteen Dream. It's a match you'll probably recognise from NXT. Superb matchup. Ricochet defeats Velveteen Dream in 1956 with a double moonsault. Only a B81 here. We did have to protect the Velveteen Dream, but if we want to get Ricochet at the next level, that's the kind of matches he has to be winning, and he can be a great babyface underdog going forward. 2 great performances, and saw their way to protect the Velveteen Dream, and that's probably what cost it from being a much better match, but hopefully it benefits Ricochet going forward. Next up, we've got the Revival cutting a promo on Devitt and Anderson. This has been a 3-way feud between the Bucks, the Revival and the tag team champions Devitt and Anderson, so they're just putting their case across of why they're going to become the tag team champions, and that's a B78. Match itself, not the greatest. I wish it was, because normally, as I say, Anderson and Devitt knock it out of the park, but this B plus 84 was a good wrestling match, decent reaction from the crowd, which saw the Young Bucks defeat the Revival and Devitt and Anderson. In 1942, the Revival went first, then Devitt and Anderson, and finally, the day has come where the Young Bucks win the WWE Tag Team Championships. Just felt like with Devitt and Anderson, good, but at one point Devitt's going to have to move to singles competition, and I really want to, really stock up in the tag team division, make them quite bulky with many teams. And I certainly feel the Young Bucks are an actual proper tag team that can carry that division. But you can see there, great performances from everyone, I'd say, apart from Dawson, who just seems to be capped despite improving in technical and performance skills. Like, as every episode, he's always done that every match, but for some reason, I don't know if he must be glitched in this, but the reason the match didn't draw as highly as it should have was to protect Devitt and Anderson, allow them to put everyone over and keep them happy. So this match probably would have been up in the air with an A, but that's why it is what it is in the card, but a good win for the Young Bucks. Next up, Kenny Omega, ahead of the final battle with his golden lover rival, Kota Ibushi. He says tonight's the night he proves he is the man, and he deserves to be in the main events. He deserves to be the next guy on Raw. As an A89. How will this draw? Utter terrible. And it's probably, admittedly, that I've booked this. So I've put it down as an epic. I'm going to be brutally honest, I don't use a lot of the match aims a lot. 99% of my matches are regular. I've had one per show because of the type of brand we have, storytelling. So I was always going to fail at one point. But anyway, a great wrestling match, good heat. Kenny Omega defeats Kota Ibushi in a 1 hour Iron Man match by 3 falls to 2. Only draws a B minus 76, but hopefully Kenny gets a big boost of overness out of this. Both men visibly tiring, the crowd were buzzing. I think a lot of folk would be buzzing if they saw this in real life. 2 decent performances, 190 and an 89. You can see they're epic. Tainted, let's have a look and see. So, probably should maybe brought the crowd down, that's one thing. We didn't slow build it, so that was probably going to be an issue as well, so that's on me. So, good psychology for Ibushi, good psychology for Kenny. Both guys lacked the stamina, and the crowd was already emotionally high. So yeah, maybe I should have brought the crowd down a little bit. So that's up to me if I want to do that in the future. I tend to always go way up, just get the best ratings possible. I don't really balance my shows in terms of here's something good and here's something for an hour that's just garbage, like WWE does in real life, or garbage for 3 hours if you're watching Monday Night Raw. A nice leveling curve there, as I say. It's something I probably personally should dwell in and use a lot more, but felt like we should try it here. But at the end of the day, hopefully it benefits Kenny and gets him to that main place we want him to be in the main roster, so that's good. Next up, we're getting to our main events. This is the Raw main event. We've still got 2 other main events after this. Miscuts a promo on Daniel Bryan. He says for months and months he's just never been used in WWE correctly. He's got a win over The Rock at WrestleMania. Tonight's going to be the night he gets back to the main event by winning the WWE Championship. So it's a B+88. Match itself was a great wrestling bout with good heat, and The Miz does defeat Daniel Bryan in 22:46 by pinfall, illegally using the ropes for leverage. Finally, The Miz is WWE Champion yet again. So A93, I'd said for months and months I wanted to put the title back on The Miz. Summerslam, 72,000 people, great chance to do so. Hopefully this can kickstart what's going to be a phenomenal program going forward into the tail end of the year. A few negatives there, but it's all about the aftermath. So Daniel Bryan's in the ring, he's not celebrating, he's just getting up, but then that bastard Tommaso Ciampa runs in and he beats the crap out of Daniel Bryan. So A90, Ciampa taking no prisoners on the Raw brand as he does that, and then him and The Miz, the post-match stare down. I really do wonder where we're going with this feud. It's quite obvious, but B+88, now that is a way to get yourself announced to the main event scene. We then move to the Women's Revolution main event. They are co-main event in tonight's show. Becky Lynch is hyping a promo for her upcoming match against Ronda Rousey. Ronda's been on a tear. Obviously, we bumped her stats up a little bit because in this mod she wasn't great. And let's be honest, in the main roster, she's been nothing short of superb in real life. So it's kind of giving her a fairer reflection. So she's improved. We'll give her matches. She's been winning, and she's earned herself a WWE Women's Championship match against Becky Lynch. So B+88. Becky came across well. Match itself had a great wrestling and good heat. Becky Lynch picks up the win over Ronda in 23:27 by pinfall with a fast roll-up, making the third defence of her Women's Championship. Now, the B88's very, very good. I'm happy with that. Becky was reluctant to put the title on Ronda, but 95 performance for Becky just shows how over she is and how good she is. It certainly helps. She's been winning matches. She's obviously major positive in her momentum. With her being the protege to Virgo Devitt, she's always gaining skills and psychology, so Becky's really just another level. Storyline advances. Basically, what I can confirm is I was planning on doing this as soon as it announced, but because my last video was made before the announcement, I couldn't do it. Because then I just drop the video and then people are like, alright, Summerslam is meant to be next. So, true to real life, they've done it, so we're going to do it. Next video, pay-per-view, second week of September, WWE Evolution. WWE is going to do it, we'll do it, our first full women's pay-per-view. I did say I was going to do it, and WWE's kind of forced my hand. I felt like, you know what, let's see how our show compares first, and see if they can match what we can build. So we'll confirm anyway, main event, 100% is going to be Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey, the rematch. And I think that could possibly be incredible. But yeah, so that's coming, and unlike WWE, so it's not a complete copy, because a lot of the ideas I get are something that happens in WWE. We seem to try and see if we can do it better and create it. We'll not be doing a one-off WWE pay-per-view for a year for the women. I'm going to look to try and bring in probably 3 or 4 to start with the intention at one point to go to one a month, the same as the Raw and SmackDown schedules, because we'll have them in September. October and November they'll have their Mae Young Classic. We might try and fit them in, one for December, maybe one after Mania or before Mania, and then another one in the summer. So yeah, that's your next video. WWE Evolution, and then we'll try and think of names for other pay-per-views, but we'll see what happens. We'll go with the WWE model and we'll compare our match card to what the WWE produces when that eventually happens on the 28th of October. Main event time. WWE World Heavyweight Championship is on the line. Kevin Owens, we all know, backstabbed his friend at Money in the Bank. Sami Zayn was moments away from capturing that Money in the Bank briefcase. Kevin attacked him. Bang. Kevin cashed in Money in the Bank on a departing Roman Reigns. Cheated to defeat Sami Zayn at the last pay-per-view, The Bash, for the SmackDown brand. So who get involved this one? Shane McMahon. So not only is this Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, but this has Shane McMahon as the special guest referee, of course, our user character. So A90. Let's see how this match does. This is all our pay-per-view is down to, is this particular match. It's okay, not amazing, because if amazing to me now is a 100, but superb matchup. Saw Sami Zayn defeat Kevin Owens in 31:07 with a Helluva Kick. New World Heavyweight Champion, Sami Zayn. Got to end it on a high note, got to end it on a positive, got to send the crowd home happy, and a great win for Sami. And Kevin can blame a Mr. McMahon on his defeat. If we just look there, you can see referee Shane McMahon. We end the show, Sami Zayn celebrates. So yeah, overall pretty happy with that. We'll just quickly go to end show. Now what I'm going to point out here, we never really had any outstandingly great matches in terms of 100s. We had a 90, 290s actually, with an 88, 93, yeah, so I suppose that's probably match of the night, but nothing really pushes us up to the 88, 98. However, because it is one of the big two, SmackDown or WrestleMania, with celebrities, special set, and music bands as well, that were going to make the rating go up. So that's pushed us from probably would be a fairly average 90 rating for the way a lot of my shows are going. I know if you're just starting out, you're thinking, how's that average? But you've been playing the same save for 5 years, it's quite easy to get the high ratings. So to me, 89 spectacular, increases our popularity in 40 regions. That's what I kind of need to be doing in this save now, because every Raw, SmackDown I'm producing is always no popularity gains, because we're at that threshold 90s, 91s that they don't gain any pop. So we're kind of peaking out in that regard. But overall, great rating. I think we'll give props to, we'll go Daniel Bryan, and we'll go to the Miz. We'll tell Daniel Bryan, in fact, tell both of them, you know what, yous are awesome. That's fine. So let me know in the comments section what you thought of the pay-per-view in general. Maybe you've learned something in terms of using the likes of the bands, etc., to boost the rating up. As I say, none of those matches were even close to 98. None of the segments were close either. But yeah, that just shows what you can get. So as we look through the news items, so look, Wolfgang going back to ICW, 01 Jimmy Yang, 9,000 fans at Hard Justice. See in case there's anyone there that we want to try and bring in. Nothing there, but great success. It's always the best thing to see. A lot of things to cover. Okay, so first in the US, Canada, Mexico, and Japan as well. I believe that's just Emma. That's fine. She's only on an open contract anyway. We're possibly going to bring in Bryan Cage. I'll see what kind of contract he's been offered by AAA. Seriously considering they've given him 17 over 3 years, that's cool. Although I give him longer, so. I'm just trying to bring in different characters just to freshen the roster up every so often. Maybe I'm making it a bit too much. There's too many on the roster, but cool. Release folk every so often. We'll check that for Harper later. Kenny tired because of the 60-minute match. Summerslam is now legendary, so that's also going to help its ratings as well in terms of, you know, getting up to like a 98 or a 100. You saw that with WrestleMania, 5.24 buy rate. That'll be one of our higher buy rates since the change in data. John Cena doesn't like Mysterio. Ronda doesn't like Mysterio. Velveteen Dream doesn't like Ruby Riott. Intriguing. So what I mean by that, if we just got to go to the top 100, you guys can see it clearly in terms of pay-per-view buys. So at the start of the save, I don't know if I've maybe hit something or changed something, but you can see the buy rates there were really high. And yeah, it just seems after 2017 we then have a different kind of buy rate system, but in terms of that, WrestleMania is 37 and 35, so SummerSlam's probably in this, I'll just say new generation of recent events, where it is the third highest behind WrestleMania's 37 and 35, and actually drew higher than WrestleMania 36. So quite cool to see that. But overall, a lot of people unhappy they didn't make the show, so I'll have to go ahead and put some morale boosting things in. We'll put the the Evolution show within the second week of September, a week before Night of Champions. But just so you can see there, that's the kind of stuff we'd added to SummerSlam to make it the elite event it was. Starband, E-list celebrity, and a special set as well. So hopefully we'll have a good show for Evolution. Got to go ahead now and put up a good undercard, because the main event's cool. Other matches will be cool. It's just the lower card worries me a little bit because there's not too many ladies over to the level we need them to be. But it's a great opportunity in that regard. And I just want to check as well. Miz is up to 90 over, so he had a good gain. Daniel might have a big loss. No, not really. That's pleasing. I was pleasantly surprised by that with Sammy. Good gain for Sammy up to 90, Kevin Owens 90, just under 90. So yeah, overall, very pleased with that. In fact, one more if we want to check it. Kenny got a good boost out of that. That's good. He was 80s, high 70s, so he's a good boost out of that, and a Bushy we can easily recover. So yeah, overall, very pleased, and we carry on. We move on to Evolution, which hopefully you'll join us next week for. So thanks for watching, much appreciated. Take it easy, and hopefully I'll see you again in 1 week's time for WWE Evolution, and of course after that, Clash of Champions. Take it easy, see you soon, bye bye.